literacy are two vital components to a city. Bringing both together in one place is the longest-running reading program in Canada called One Book, One Community. Celebrating its 13th year, the event came to Kitchener, Ontario to promote reading and gain more of a community connection.
So One Book, One Community is a group of people. We sit on a steering committee, and every year the committee chooses one book to get behind the initiative of bringing literacy to this area, to get everybody on board reading one book. And then what we do is we bring the author to the area, and they do appearances at all the public libraries that are free, and talks about the process of writing the book and a little bit of the background of their books and why they enjoy writing.
This year's book that was selected by One Book, One Community was The Massey Murder by Charlotte Gray. A book centered in the early 1900s, Charlotte Gray's nonfiction novel portrays the historic murder of Bert Massey in Toronto during the time of the First World War. The Massey family at that time were famous for their farm equipment company, and the Massey trial was a matter close at home that made it easier to forget about the World War.
Charlotte Gray wrote a social history on a murder because murder is one of the most popular genres, murder mysteries, but this is based on the true story, and it takes place 100 years ago on the eve of the First World War, and it brings Toronto to life at that period. Bert Massey was one of the Massey family. You've heard of Massey Ferguson or the Massey Hall. So he was came from a well-to-do family, and when his wife was away, he made a pass at his maid, Carrie Davis. She was a domestic working for him. She came to Canada, and she sent her money back to her widowed mother. So 18 years old, she was very concerned about being ruined, because in those days, young women had very little options. So she took the matter into her own hands and shot him, and the trial was equal to the O.J. Simpson trial or the Oscar Pistorius trial. It gripped the nation.
Last year's book was The Ragged Company by Richard Wagamese. Many books chosen by One Book, One Community also reflect on social issues across the world.
Well, I think it's a great idea to get everybody reading one book all together in one community, and I think it's a good way to support just the idea of reading together as a community. Things I like is they tend to pick books that have social issues related to them as well, and so I think it gets us thinking about social justice issues as a community.
Books chosen by One Book, One Community can be purchased at local bookstores. This has been Heather Stanley for Spoke Online.